Hey everybody, it's Chief Gen X again. Hope your Memorial Day weekend went well. I'm here today with a little happy story for you. As I was asked to do, a little story about my family. Hey, I'm gonna pick on my grandma one more time because this is one that everybody in my family will know and will definitely get a chuckle about, and they know it's true. It's just as far as the day is long, and people are going to say, no, that's not true. That couldn't be that way. Oh, yes, it is. Trust me. What I'm about to tell you is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. My grandmother Costello, God rest her soul, um, had a wall, had raised five children. Her and my grandfather raised five children an old dusty hill out in the woods and out in the country in Whitehall, Illinois. Lived off the farm. Everything 90% of the things they got, they raised themselves. Either that or killed it, gut it, raised it, grew it out of the ground. And my mother, along with her four siblings, either fed it, fertilized it, pulled it out of the ground, plucked it off a stalk, or killed it and defeathered it, or some other way. And that's how they lived. Um, so this is what they did. My grandparents did with five kids. Now, be that as it may, they lived in like I said before, they lived in this two-bedroom place. Now there was pretty much my grandmother had the reins of the house when it comes to decorating. My grandfather didn't give a rat's ass. He just give him a bed to sleep in, get him to go to work, get him his chores done, get the kids chores done, get done. Easy for me to say. Make sure the kids get their chores done. They got to school, and that was about all he really cared about. Make sure they got good grades in school, and that was it. Okay. Um, my grandmother had a special place in the house that she would decorate the wall with portraits of all five of her children. Now, in the immediate family, we call this the picture wall. And some of you may be snickering already because you know what's about to come. Okay, my grandmother had this picture wall, and on this picture wall, it had big 8x10 pictures of all five of her children. And then off to the side was this big old collage type picture thing of all of her grandkids. Okay, there's 13 or 14, I can't remember how many there is. I can name you the names of us, but I can't even remember how many there is. All right, there's kids, the grandkids. Okay, now, be that as it may, every Sunday, if you lived in a 50 to 75 mile radius of that hill, you were expected to be at my grandparents' place for Sunday meals once they got back home from church. And if you weren't, you had to feel the wrath of my grandmother on the phone. And she's half deaf, so you really had to hear the wrath of her. All right. Once you went out when everybody goes out the hill when when it came time to, you came to the house, you looked around, no big deal. Everybody came with their dish or something like that. Grandma used to always have something there. I think I started noticing some stuff here about what time I was 8 or 9 years old. I noticed the wall looked a little different every once in a while. And I started looking at the wall, and this picture wall, and I was looking at this wall, and I'm like, there's something wrong. There's something different about this picture wall. And I got this puzzled look on my face every time. And my mother, unbeknownst to me, would sit there and be watching me and just snicker. Because she's smiling. She's like, yeah, I know what he's looking at. And I'm like, something's wrong with this picture wall. And so we get used to it. And I'm like, okay, next weekend, it's okay, it stayed the same as last weekend. I come out there, and 3 or 4 weekends later, it's changed again. Wait a minute, hang on a second. I'm like, okay, all right. All five was up there, but then I began to see a pattern. The order of the pictures changed every once in a while. Or little more frequently. As I grew older, I grew a little bolder, and I asked my mother. I was about 12, 13 years old this time. I asked my mom, I said, why is it that the pictures on Grandma's picture wall, the order changes every once in a while? And I didn't think my mom was going to stop laughing there for a while when she started. She started laughing. She couldn't stop laughing for a good 5-10 minutes. And I didn't know what the heck she was laughing at. I'm like, what's going on? She explained to me that on that picture wall, the kids, her kids, my grandmother's kids, were in the order of which that my grandmother thought met her approval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It wasn't the order that we were born in, the birth order. No. It was the order in which they approved of. She approved of them. 1 week my mother was in the front. 1 week my mother would be in the back. 1 week my mother would be in the middle. 1 week my mother would be in the second, third one. You get the picture. Everybody, she'd shuffled them around. My grandmother would shuffle them around according to how pissed she was or how happy she was with her children at that time. And I'm like, no, Grandma wouldn't do that. And my mother looked me dead in the eyes and she goes, you think your grandmother's a saint? Come on now. I'm like, She goes, think about it. Just next Sunday, you go up there. She goes, look at the order. See if it's changed. Everybody does it. We all walk through the house. We look around. And she goes, and I guarantee you, me and every one of my siblings will go in there and we'll take a quick glance at the picture wall to see who's at the front and see who's in the back. Because there's got a story on whoever's in the front and whoever's in the back. The three in the middle, we don't give a shit about. We want to know who's in the front and who's in the back. Because somebody's got a story about those two. And that was family gossip. I'm like, all right, whatever, Mom. Sure shit. Comes next Sunday afternoon. We come rolling up there. I come waltzing in the house, and my mom's like, just go in there and just nonchalantly walk in there and just check it out. Well, my mom, nonchalant at 13 years old, was kind of like just like a goober. Walking in there like a goober going, dirt, dirt, dirt. I look at the wall, and I'm like, looking around. I had to look back at the wall because my ADD had kicked in. I forgot what the order was. And I looked and I'm like, it's changed. And I looked around at my mom, and my mom was like, She goes, you see it? I was like, uh-huh. She goes, she couldn't see around the corner. She goes, who's in last? I said, it ain't you, Mom. She goes, oh, cool. She wasn't first that year, that week. But she wasn't last. That's all she was worried about that weekend, that she wasn't last. So yeah, she did that till the time, to as long as I known her, till the time that my grandfather passed away. Then she had to go to the nursing home. Even in this assisted living, my grandmother had the picture wall up, and she made them CNAs change the order of them pictures the way her likings. It wasn't the birth order. It was in the order in which you met her approval. Now, there was her 5 children. All right. Now, fast forward about 10 years. Been in the Navy 3-4 years or so. I get to come home. Every once in a while, I get to come home. We go in there. All right. I go in and I get to come home. It was once winter. I think it was one summer, or Christmas. It was one Christmas time coming in. I'm not 23, 24. Got to come home, bring in my kids. I think I had the oldest 2 with me. So, had the oldest 2. We're up at the hill, visiting. And I happened to wander back in the back in the living room. I looked on the picture wall. Sure stuff. The pictures are 5 big 8x10 pictures are up there, and they're all the high school pictures. They're all my mom and aunts and uncles' high school pictures. That the only ones that my grandmother put up there on the wall. The high school portraits are up there, and she played shuffleboard. Basically, she played shuffleboard with the high school graduation pictures. I'm like, Jesus, there we go. So I was like, okay, no big deal. And I just caught a glance and I looked at the grandkid board, which it hardly ever moved. It never freaking moved. It added to it. Basically, what it did is added to it every time somebody had a kid. Now, I looked at it again and I'm like, wait a minute. I look at him again. I'm like, started smiling, laughing. I was like, hey, Mom, check this out. Here comes my mother. I said, she goes, I already saw the wall. I said, no, you got to see the collage. She goes, what do you mean? I said, check out the collage. She goes, yeah? I said, you've been here, how long you been here for? She goes, I ain't checked out the collage. I didn't think the collage. And as soon as she took the collage, she started busting out laughing. She goes, oh my God, Mother! And she barked out Mother. I'm like, Mom, shut up. She goes, oh no, we're going to have a word about this. Oh, Jesus Christ. My mother commences chewing out my grandmother about switching the pictures around on the grandkids' collage pictures. She's doing to us what she did to her own kids. She's doing to the grandkids what she's doing to her own kids now. She's shuffling everybody's picture around according to her priorities. And I can't help but laugh. It is funnier than hell. She just, oh my God, she was moving and grooving. I'm like, I was looking, I'm like, did I move any? My mother laughed. She goes, boy, you ain't moved that spot since the day you were born. You're going to stay up in that spot. I said, yeah, I know. She was, Grandma thinks the world revolves around you. I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's another day for another story. Another day for that story. Yeah, my grandmother was definitely, she had her quirks, and that was one of her quirks, was that she had her picture wall that she went up and she rearranged it, and it could be, sometimes I was up there a couple times a week, and it could be sometimes by the day. I mean, she changed it. I went up there on a Sunday, I come back here on a Wednesday, and it was completely different from that Sunday to Wednesday. I mean, it totally changed. I'll give you an example. My Aunt Murray was first on Sunday. By Wednesday, she was dead last. I don't know what she did in 2 days. In 48 hours, my Aunt Murray went from first to dead last. It was like watching a NASCAR race in slow-mo. Pow! My Uncle Patrick, who was dead last, went to third. My Uncle Johnny, who was in fourth, stayed in fourth. All right, he poor man, God rest his soul, he barely left third and fourth. My mom went from third to first. My Aunt Gloria stayed in second. By the time we got Sunday come around, the whole thing switched around again. I'm like, God dang, woman. Damn, Grandma. I was like, shit. Like, hell. Yeah, it was fun. But hey, I want to give a shout out to my daughter, marrying on this one. She got me this one. Her and her mom just came back from a 3-week cruise. They went to England, Ireland, Scotland, had a little fun. They got me the Stonehenge hat. I appreciate it. They know how much I love my ball caps. And they got me this one, which is quite nice. So thank you very much. Ladybug, Daddy loves you. Had a great weekend with her. We built Legos. Those Legos builds are going to be up on YouTube if they're not already on there. We did a time lapse build on two builds. Did time lapse on moving on them. Which, if anybody knows my youngest daughter, she's like the Lego ninja. So doing a time lapse thing on her was probably like putting it in double fast forward for everybody else. She just whipped through them like it was like a hot knife through melted butter. Now, when I did mine, of course, everybody's like, oh, yeah, here goes the slow bastard. You know, yeah, I took my time and I did it slow because I'm old and slow. And trust me, I got harassed while I was doing this. Like, dang, you dang old man, you gonna take it any longer? You know, check me out on YouTube also. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, 2 channels on Facebook. My original one and on Chief Gen X. Check us out. If you like it, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. hit the share button, share it with your family. All right. So everybody have a good day. And this is Chief Chin X, and I'm out.